Good evening. I am Tomas Guevara Calderon, and this is the channel Rewriting the Reality. Subscribe to this channel to remember your divine origin. In my previous videos number 122 and 123 I explained that our sciences and religions are based on beliefs. Neither is true. Science and religions are practically the same, and they have been given us inaccurate information for centuries. The inaccurate information has been devaluating us, and my purpose is debunking all this information to remember our divine origin. In today's episode 125 we are going to analyze how we moved megaliths in ancient times. Note that when I said that the Roman Empire composed the Bible, I refer that they create committees, they called it councils, to include all available religions' writers of the epics, but they didn't include any feminine writers. We were a patriarchal society that even today has great influence. The process of assembling the Bible is a fascinating journey that spans centuries and involves various historical figures and councils. Let's explore how the 66 books of the Bible came together. The Old Testament. The Old Testament, also known as the Hebrew Bible, consists of 39 books. These books were written over the centuries by prophets, leaders, and scribes. By the time of Jesus and his disciples, the Hebrew Bible had already been established as 39 books. This collection was what Jesus referred to as the Scriptures. Moses wrote the first 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and subsequent prophets contributed to the rest. The New Testament. After the establishment of the early Christian church, followers of Jesus began writing historical records of his life and teachings. These writings became known as the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Church leaders like Paul and Peter wrote letters, called epistles, to provide guidance to the newly formed churches. Over time, hundreds of letters and books circulated, explaining who Jesus was and how to live as his followers. Selecting authentic writings. As the church grew, questions arose about which writings should be considered authoritative and part of the Scriptures. Major church councils convened to address these questions. Notable ones include the Council of Nicaea in AD 325 and the First Council of Constantinople in AD 381. Criteria for inclusion in the Bible included apostolic connection. Books written by Jesus' disciples or those closely associated with them, e.g., Peter, Luke. First century origin. Only writings from the 1st century AD were considered. Consistency with existing Scripture. New books couldn't contradict established elements of Scripture. Saint Jerome and the Vulgate. Around AD 400, Saint Jerome translated and compiled the entire Bible into Latin. This edition is known as the Vulgate. While Jerome wasn't the first to select the 66 books, he was the first to assemble them into a single volume. In summary, the first widespread edition of the Bible, including both the Old and New Testaments, was assembled by Saint Jerome in Latin around AD 400. This compilation, known as the Vulgate, became a pivotal milestone in the history of the Bible. I know that many of you are going to say that these writers were inspired by God, but the truth is that there is not God. It was an invention that we did at that time to make the Bible the official book of Christianity. The Mussulmans did the same. Before that time and for many centuries we dedicated ourselves to building wonders using megaliths that weighed hundreds or thousands of tons. During these times we were so focused on building them that war was practically inexistent. But also, in that time we were believing in gods. We have many at that time. Let's explore the fascinating buildings and its connections between Baalbek, the Temple of Jupiter, the Temple of Venus, and the Roman Empire. Baalbek. Location: Baalbek, also known as Heliopolis, is an ancient city in modern-day Lebanon. Roman influence. During Roman times, Baalbek was annexed and became a Roman colony around 47 BC under Julius Caesar. It played a significant role in the Roman Empire's religious landscape. Temple complex. Baalbek was home to several grand temples, including those dedicated to Jupiter, Venus, and Bacchus. Temple of Jupiter. Colossal structure. The Temple of Jupiter in Baalbek is a colossal Roman temple. It is the largest Roman temple after the Temple of Venus and Roma in Rome. Construction. Work on the temple likely began around 16 BC, during the reign of Emperor Augustus. It was nearly complete by approximately AD 60. Significance. The Temple of Jupiter was the biggest temple dedicated to Jupiter in the entire Roman Empire. Its columns were an impressive 19.9 meters high, with a diameter of nearly 2.5 meters, making them the largest in the classical world. Oracle and emperors. It served as an important religious site, and emperors often consulted its oracle. For instance, Emperor Trajan learned of his imminent death there around AD 115. Temple of Venus. The Temple of Venus was located about 200 meters southeast of the Temple of Jupiter, separated by a colonnaded street. Design and worship. It was a square field surrounded by a colonnade. Within this area, two small shrines existed. One was dedicated to the Muses, while the other faced the Temple of Jupiter and venerated Venus. Roman Empire connection. Religious importance. Baalbek's temples, including those of Jupiter and Venus, were significant religious centers during the Roman Empire. They played a crucial role in the spiritual life of the region. Cultural exchange. The Romans incorporated local deities into their pantheon, often identifying them with their own gods. For example, Jupiter, also known as Zeus, was associated with the Semitic god Baal, and Venus, Aphrodite, was revered alongside other deities. Byzantine influence. After the Roman period, Baalbek continued to be relevant. Ruins from that time include the Temple of Venus, which was later incorporated into a Byzantine church. In summary, Baalbek's temples, especially the Temple of Jupiter and the Temple of Venus, reflect the rich cultural and religious interactions between the Roman Empire and the ancient city. These magnificent structures stand as enduring testaments to the past, inviting us to explore their history and significance. Now let's talk about the megaliths used in the construction of Baalbek. They are truly awe-inspiring. Let's delve into their remarkable weights. Trilithon stones. These are part of the podium wall in the Roman complex of the Temple of Jupiter Baal, also known as Heliopolitan Zeus, until Baalbek. Each of the three trilithon stones is estimated to weigh about 750 to 800 tons. Roman monoliths. There are three additional monoliths that were not part of a larger structure. Stone of the Pregnant Woman, estimated at 1,000 tons. Stone of the South, estimated at 1,242 tons. Forgotten Stone, estimated at 1,650 tons. These monoliths are the first, third, and fifth largest known stones ever quarried in human history. Remarkably, they were intended for the nearby Jupiter Baal complex but were never removed from their quarry due to their immense size. They have not been used since ancient times. Stone of the Pregnant Woman. This monolith still lies in the ancient quarry, approximately 900 meters from the Heliopolis temple complex. Despite being the smallest of the three monoliths, it is famous for its fine condition, imposing angle, and never having been fully hidden by earth. According to geodetic measurements, the Stone of the Pregnant Woman weighs 1,000.12 tons. Its dimensions are as follows. Length, 20.31 to 20.76 meters. Width, base 4 meters. Width, top 4.14 to 5.29 meters. Height, 4.21 to 4.32 meters. Estimated density, 2.6 to 2.8 g/cm superscript 3. Legends attribute its name to a pregnant woman who supposedly knew how to move the giant stone if fed until she gave birth. Other tales involve pregnant jinn assigned to cut and move the stone, while some believe touching it increases fertility. These colossal megaliths continue to captivate our imagination, leaving us in awe of the ancient engineering prowess that shaped Baalbek's monumental legacy. All these megaliths were cut using sound. The pyramids were constructed also using sound. The exact process for using sound will be discovered soon. Today's handling of these megaliths will be impossible even using heavy machinery. We started forgetting these processes when we started using metals to create weapons to conquer other cultures. In Machu Picchu we used sound, but in a different way, to practically partially dissolve the stones to put it together in ways that today will be impossible. Since Jesus, we started in another direction using metals, and today we use light to do something similar. I refer to our actual laser cutting. Light can be used to cut heavy materials through a process called laser cutting. Let me explain how it works. Laser cutting. In laser cutting, a high-energy laser beam is focused onto the material's surface. The intense heat generated by the laser causes localized melting or vaporization of the material. As a result, the material is precisely cut along the desired path. Laser cutting is commonly used for metals, ceramics, and other materials. Types of lasers cutting. Melting method. This is the traditional method where the laser melts the material along the cutting line. Vaporization method. In this method, ultra-short pulses from a high-energy laser instantly vaporize the material without melting it. This technique is particularly effective for cutting metals, ceramics, and other heavy materials. Practical applications. Laser cutting is widely used in various industries, including manufacturing, aerospace, and automotive. It allows for precise, intricate cuts with minimal material waste. Different laser types, such as CO2 lasers or fiber lasers, are chosen based on the specific material being cut. Safety considerations. Laser cutting involves high-energy beams, so safety precautions are crucial. Proper eye protection and ventilation are essential when working with lasers. Remember that laser cutting is a powerful and versatile technique, but it requires specialized equipment and expertise. But we never forget the sound, but now we are using it differently. While light, as in laser cutting, is commonly used for precision cutting, sound can also be harnessed for material processing, albeit in different ways. Let's explore a few methods where sound plays a role. Ultrasonic cutting. Ultrasonic cutting utilizes high-frequency sound waves, typically in the range of 20 kHz to 40 kHz, to cut through materials. The process involves a vibrating blade that generates ultrasonic waves. These waves create localized stress and friction at the cutting edge. Ultrasonic cutting is particularly effective for soft materials like rubber, plastics, and textiles. Applications include trimming fabrics, cutting food products, such as cakes or cheese, and even surgical procedures. Water jet cutting. Although not purely sound-based, water jet cutting combines water with abrasive particles, such as garnet, to create a high-velocity stream. The water jet can cut through various materials, including metals, ceramics, and composites. The cutting action is a result of the kinetic energy transfer from the water jet to the material. Water jet cutting is precise and doesn't generate heat, making it suitable for heat-sensitive materials.
Cavitation erosion.
In cavitation erosion, sound waves create tiny bubbles, cavities, in a liquid, usually water.
When these bubbles collapse near a solid surface, they generate intense shock waves.
These shock waves can erode or weaken the material over time. While not a direct cutting method, it demonstrates how sound energy can affect materials.
Acoustic machining. Acoustic machining involves using ultrasonic vibrations to remove material from a workpiece. The vibrations cause microchipping or abrasion, gradually shaping the material. It's used for precision machining of hard materials like ceramics or glass. Sonic drilling. Sonic drilling combines vibration and rotation to penetrate hard materials, such as rocks or concrete.
The sonic energy reduces friction, allowing faster drilling.
It's commonly used in geotechnical and environmental drilling.
Remember that while sound-based methods have their advantages, they also come with limitations. For heavy or thick materials, laser cutting or other mechanical methods might be more efficient. Each technique has its niche, and engineers choose the best approach based on the material properties and desired precision. You must understand that our creativity doesn't have limitations, precisely because we are gods, and our purpose is all the experiences that we can create.
Soon we will be traveling at speeds higher than the speed of light. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.